Hi everyone. In today's video I want to talk about challenges that come with raising children in multiple languages. I wholeheartedly believe that that the positive by far outweigh the negative when it comes to doing this, but let's be real, like with most things in life that are worthwhile, this also comes with challenges. I just want to share a few of them with you. Maybe you recognize yourself, maybe you just learned something. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the beginning part. The beginning can be very, very challenging. It can be it's actually the hardest part for me. The first moments when everything is not like this well-oiled machine yet, and you still have to figure things out and think about everything and make yourself do the things you have to do. It can feel very isolating and very challenging. So eventually you get over it and you start to see progress, and it starts to feel normal, but you really have to stick to it until you get there. And that first part of the journey can be hard, can be really hard. The next thing I find challenging are all those awkward situations. When you go to the doctor's office or the school or somewhere when they give a certain service, and you and your child are talking in the minority language, the person in front of you doesn't know the situation, so doesn't know what language to approach you guys in, and then start trying to talk French even though they don't know how to talk French, and I have to stop and explain, okay, this is the situation. My husband and I raised her in two languages. You can just feel free to speak Dutch if that's your language, and I speak French, but I'm gonna speak French to her the whole time, but I'm gonna speak in Dutch to you the whole time. And you have to do this little introduction of the situation, and by now I'm used to it, but there's still like moments where you're caught off guard, and I haven't had the opportunity to explain the whole situation before we get in the awkward part. Where I live, this isn't really a norm, so people can still be confused. It can be annoying because it's just not the norm, but that's one of the challenges I find sometimes. The next thing I want to talk about is finding clear-cut, supportive teaching material, reading material, especially when it's not really a popular language that you are trying to teach, or a popular combination of languages that you're trying to teach, because I still have to find things that I'll be able to read, or my husband will be able to read to her. A lot of these things don't exist, so we have to be creative and just make it up as we go, or just while I'm reading a Dutch book to her, I have to first translate it in my head and then say it in French, so that my husband will be able to read the same story in Dutch, so that she gets the vocabulary from both languages for the same thing. So a lot of these things we have to make up and be creative, and we just have a hard time finding them. So that's another challenge. Okay, another thing I want to mention is all the question marks, and just comparing with a monolingual family in a country that speaks that language. There are a few questions I have that no one can answer for me. That just wouldn't come up if we weren't doing this. Like, what language is she going to talk to her sister in? Are they going to speak some of the languages, just one language, or are they going to mix? Is there a point in time that I'm going to speak to her in Dutch? Is there a point in time where we're going to speak all the languages simultaneously? Is there a point in time where she's going to find the language that her peers or her friends talk more attractive, and she's not going to want to speak French anymore? I really sometimes wonder where this is all going. How is all of this going to look like in 10 years, in 20 years from now? So it's all those question marks that are so annoying sometimes, like that other people don't have to think about. They already know this is the language we speak and are going to speak for the rest of our life. Like it's just all these weird questions, like not knowing what things are going to look like in the future. So the last one I want to mention is all the extra effort you have to put in, all the extra work you have to try to predict situations and correct situations and prevent things from happening, and if they happen, correct them in time, and all these extra efforts that you have to make for the day to day, for the smallest, most ridiculous things. You have to make a special effort. You have to think about them twice and stay at it. After a while it becomes the norm, but you still have to, there's still something you have to practice every day. So that can be challenging. That can be also a reason why people give up. So that's also what I wanted to talk about. That's also something I wanted to mention. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about positive sides of bilingualism, so we don't stay in the negative. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.